Hi friends, hello. Welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE Optional, India's largest online learning platform, Unacademy. Hi friends, welcome to Crack UPSC Optional or UPSC CSE Optional. Hi friends, welcome to India's largest online learning platform, Unacademy. From Unacademy, you will be getting daily live classes, live tests, quizzes, structured courses, limited access to course material and videos on UPSC prelims and mains. Download Unacademy Learning app and get daily live classes. This is Kiran Anishetti, Faculty for Political Science, Public Administration, Polity, Issues in Governance, and Ethics. Friends, I have done my MBA. I have done my MA in Political Science and Public Administration. I am about to complete my LLB. I qualified UGC NET in Political Science and Public Administration. 4 times I took Civil Services mains with Public Administration optional, each time scoring around 60% in Public Administration optional. With regard to teaching experience, I have more than 10 years of UPSC teaching experience. I have taught in Telangana Government ST IAS Study Circle, Telangana Government Minority IAS Study Circle, Challengers IAS Academy, Super 60 IAS Academy Hyderabad, Narayana IAS Academy Hyderabad, and Shine India IAS Academy Hyderabad. If you have any doubts or queries, you can contact me on my Telegram channel, that is Unacademy_Kiran Anishetti. Friends, today we are going to discuss the topic governance, which is very, very important for public administration optional. It is important also for ethics and general essay and issues in governance. You can prepare with the top 100 educators of Unacademy, such as Runal Patel, Roman Saini, Mudit Gupta, etc. Unacademy will be covering UPSC syllabus comprehensively, such as polity, governance, IR, current affairs, Indian economy, Indian freedom movement, art and culture, science and technology, environmental issues, answer writing, practice, etc. Unacademy is offering plus subscription. Under this, the aspirant will be getting daily live classes, test series, unlimited practice, and structured schedule. For 12 months, it will be 44,000. If you use my promo code, you will be getting it 39,600. For 24 months, it is 64,000. If you use my promo code, you will be getting it 57,600. Unacademy has come up recently with a new pattern of subscription, that is iconic subscription, under which the aspirant will be getting daily live classes, test series, limited practice, set schedule, personal mentorship. Friends, this is very, very important for the aspirants because in order to crack UPSC, the aspirant needs to have personal guidance or mentorship from the faculty himself or the educator. An academy is providing this wonderful opportunity. For instance, if you use my promo code, you will get 10% discount anyhow for 12 months, that is for 1 year. It is 64,000, you will be getting it 57,600. For 24 months, it is 99,000, you will be getting it 89,100. Apart from 10% discount, I will be guiding you personally with regard to public administration optional, political science optional, with regard to general studies, paper 2, polity, issues in governance and international relations. General studies paper 4, that is ethics. In addition to this, I will be covering most of the issues related to general essay. Apart from me, an academy will assign a team of expert faculty who will be guiding you in their respective subjects. In addition to these benefits, you will be getting daily mains questions, study planner, and we will be personally evaluating your answer scripts and we will be giving our comments. These are the benefits that you will get done iconic subscription. Hence, friends, always remember that in order to crack UPSC, you need to have personal personal mentorship, which is provided by this iconic subscription. Hence, I strongly recommend for the aspirants to subscribe for this iconic subscription. That too for 24 months, that is for 2 years, because 2 years will be an optimum period within which the aspirant can prepare himself on UPSC level. Governance. The word govern originated from the Greek word kuberno. The word govern originated from the Greek word kuberno, which means steering. For the first time, this was used by Plato. For the first time, this was used by Plato. English meaning of govern means to exercise supremacy, to exercise power, to exercise authority. English meaning govern means to exercise supremacy, to exercise power, to exercise authority. Government. Government means the institutions and processes to which sovereign authority of the state is exercised. The institutions and processes to which sovereign authority of the state is exercised. Sovereign authority of the state is exercised. Like district collectorate, to this institution, sovereign authority of the state is exercised. The processes like administering law and order, with this process, the sovereignty of the state is exercised. So government refers to the institutions and processes through which the sovereign authority of the state is exercised. Here we need to understand the difference between state on one hand and the government on the other hand, friends. State is a permanent entity in which the ultimate sovereign authority of the state is bestowed upon. On the other hand, government keeps on changing. Government is an agent of state to enforce the objectives and philosophy of the state. This is true This is 100% pertinent in democratic countries, because in democratic countries, the ultimate sovereignty lies in the citizens of the country. Government is only temporary. For instance, we used to have P.V. Narasimha Rao government, then H.D. Deva Gowda government, I.K. Gujaral government, Vajpayee government, Manmohan Singh government 2, then Modi government 1, Modi government 2. Like that, the governments keeps on changing. Governments keep on changing in democracy. Government is temporary entity in a democracy. On the other hand, the state is permanent. The state, our constitution, the text of preamble starts with "We, the people of India." What does it mean? What does it connote? It means the constitution itself draws its authority from the people of the country, the citizens of constitutional, which is the fundamental law of the country, which is the supreme law of the country. That constitution itself draws its authority from the citizens of the country. That is the meaning. What our constitution text reads: "We the people of India." That means here the state is citizens of the country. The government is temporary. Government is agency of state to enforce objectives and philosophy of the state. We need to remember, with this we need to bear in our mind. Governance in its broader sense refers to the activities and processes of governmental institutions through which the social life is coordinated. Governance in its broader sense refers to the activities and processes of governmental institutions, like activities which are exercised by district collectorate, the activities which are exercised by state secretariat, the activities which are exercised by central secretariat, the activities which are exercised by prime minister's office, and the processes of government, land order administration, enforcement of land order, enforcement of law made by parliament, such as GST, enforcement of GST, which seek to regulate social life. That is governance. Governance in its broader sense refers to the activities and processes of government, governmental institutions through which social life is coordinated. Through which social life is coordinated. Good governance refers to the quality of government. If the activities and processes of governmental institutions are good, it will be termed as good governance. Otherwise, it will be termed as maladministration. So the word good governance may be new to India, but the concept is not new to India. Though the word good governance may be new to India, but the concept is not new to India. Why this word good governance may be new to India? Because word good governance was coined by World Bank. This word good governance was coined by World Bank. Hence, the term may be new to India, but the very concept of good governance is not new to India, because Kautilya's Arthashastra emphasizes upon welfareistic objectives of the state, emphasizes upon protection and security of people. Arthashastra says The twin objectives of the king are yoga and kshema. The twin objectives of the king are yoga and kshema. Yoga means welfare of the people, material welfare of people, material ensuring material prosperity of people. Kshema, protection of people from anti-social elements as well as from external aggression. Kshema refers to protection of people from anti-social elements as well as from external aggression. See, these are the twin objectives of Kautilya's Arthashastra, which are also components of good government, according to UNDP and according to World Bank. Hence, from this fact is evident, clearly evident that the concept of good governance is not new to India. The concept of good governance can be understood from three perspectives. Good governance can be construed as aid conditionality prescribed by international lending agencies. What do you mean to say aid conditionality? International lending agencies such as World Bank, Asian Development Bank, IMF, while extending loans, grants, and financial aid to third world countries, they prescribe some conditions which ought to be met by third world countries in order to get financial aid from these international agencies. That is, good governance can be construed as aid conditionality prescribed by international lending agencies. Prescribed by international lending agencies. Good governance can be construed as collaborative problem solving, thereby extending the horizons of public administration. Governance can be construed as collaborative problem solving. This word collaborative problem solving is gaining currency in recent times, especially in welfareistic administration, and in disaster management. What do you mean to say collaborative problem solving? Collaborative problem solving means involving other players such as NGOs, charitable institutions, citizen groups, private sector in solving societal problems. That is collaborative problem solving. For instance, Azim HZ Foundation, it is doing commendable job in spreading quality education, recruits a band of faculty, and it sends them across the nation to impart mathematical skills, soft skills, communication skills amongst government teachers and government lecturers, so that they in turn can impart such skills amongst the rural poor people. This is how private sector is involved in solving societal problems. We know the contribution that has been put forth by Sudha Murthy, wife of chief of Infosys, Narayan Murthy. Many charitable institutions like Ramakrishna Mission, Missionary of Charity, they are running hundreds and thousands of schools and hospitals. So this is, we mean to say, collaborative problem solving in which the government catalyzes other players to involve themselves in solving problems. Good governance can be understood from this perspective as well. Third perspective from which we can understand good governance. Good governance can be seen as democracy strengthening initiative. Good governance can be seen as democracy strengthening initiative. strengthening democratic values and ethos, such as accountability, transparency, responsiveness, etc. Accountability, transparency, responsiveness, etc. The third perspective of good governance, it aims at strengthening democratic values and ethos, such as accountability, responsibility, transparency, etc. We are going to discuss governance from this third perspective. We are going to discuss good governance from this third perspective. Good governance as democracy strengthening and intensifying initiative or concept. We will discuss the concept of good governance according to World Bank. It is World Bank for the first time that has coined the word good governance. Following are the components of good governance according to World Bank. Following are the components of good governance according to World Bank. First component, voice and accountability. People should have adequate means to express their needs and grievances. This is one of the important components of good governance according to World Bank. They should have adequate means and ways to express their needs and grievances. For instance, we observe large chunk of corruption happens at panchayat level, at municipal level. Large chunk of corruption happens at municipalities and panchayats. Hence, we demand that the way we have ombudsman institution is Lokpal at the center, ombudsman institution at state level, that is Lokayukta at state level. In the same way, we demand ombudsman institutions at local self-governing institutions. In order to express this grievance, in order to express this need, we need to have adequate means and ways to express our views. This is what the World Bank refers. Voice and accountability. People should be able to voice their concerns, their needs, their grievances. Political stability and lack of violence. Political stability and lack of violence. What do you mean to say political stability? In third world countries, because these third world countries are new to democratic institutions, most of these third world countries are characterized by political instability. Political instability means no party gets clear majority. Fractured mandate. That's what we term hung parliament or hung assembly. Yes. Hung assembly, the kind of hung assembly we experienced in Madhya Pradesh, hung assembly that we experienced in Karnataka. This fractured mandate used to exist at center level a few years ago. Fortunately, in recent times, we are not experiencing this hung parliament. But when we were in our graduation in 1995, 96, 97, 98, every year the government used to change. H.D. Devagowda government, Inder Kumar Gujral government, Vajpayee government. Vajpayee government also for 13 days it worked. After that it worked for 13 months. After that it would complete entire 5 years term. Entire 5 years term. What is the bane of political instability? When political instability happens frequently, it may lead to balkanization. There will be chaos in the society. There will be anarchy in the society. Hence, political instability is more dangerous than maladministration and abuse of authority. Political instability is more dangerous than maladministration and abuse of authority. Hence, this is one of the important components of good governance according to World Bank: political instability and lack of violence. Government effectiveness. How far the programs and policies of the government are bearing the fruits? How far the government programs and policies are able to yield results? Government effective. The quality of regulatory functions of the government, like the land order administration, how the government is able to regulate the market, how the government is able to regulate the stock market. All these things come under quality of regulatory functions of the government. Rule of law. Rule of law refers to public order. How far the government is successful in maintaining rule of law. How far it is successful in maintaining rule of law. Control of corruption. Control of corruption. These are the components of good governance according to World Bank. These are the components of good governance according to World Bank. Now we will discuss the concept of good governance from UNDP perspective. We will discuss the definition of good governance from UNDP perspective, and we will also discuss the components of good governance according to UNDP. We will discuss the components of good governance according to UNDP. UNDP says good governance means it consists of processes, mechanisms, and institutions through which citizens and their groups can articulate their interests, meet their legal obligations, exercise their legal rights, and meet their differences. Good governance, it consists of processes, mechanisms, and institutions through which citizens and their groups can articulate their interests, meet their legal obligations, exercise their legal rights, and meet their difference. This is definition of good governance given by UND. Definition of good governance given by UND. The components of good governance according to UND. Let's always remember, tomorrow if you get any question on good governance in public administration optional, or in political science optional, or in general essay, or in ethics, or in general studies paper 2, that is polity and issues in governance, you please discuss the components of good governance enunciated by UNDP. The components of good governance advocated by UNDP are more important than any other. Always remember, whenever you get question on good governance with regard to defining the components of good governance, you please refer the components of good governance according to UNDP. Participation. According to UNDP, The first and foremost component of good governance is participation. Participation of whom? Participation of the citizen. Participation of the citizens in formulation, implementation, and evaluation of governmental programs and policies. This is what the UNDP means to say participation. What will be the benefit if the citizen participates in formulation, implementation, and evaluation of programs and policies of the government? If citizen participates in the formulation of programs and policies of the government, the needs of the citizen will be taken into account while formulating the program. That's why we emphasize upon strengthening Panchayat Raj institution. We emphasize upon strengthening Panchayat Raj institution. While in Panchayat Raj institutions, Grama Sabha is a focal point. All the programs and policies of village panchayat ought to be ratified by Grama Sabha. Grama Sabha consists of all the registered voters of the village. Hence, through Grama Sabha, the voter can participate in the formulation, implementation of the programs and policies. That means Grama Sabha, a kind of direct democratic mechanism. It's a kind of direct democratic mechanism to which a citizen can directly participate in the process of governance. The citizen can participate in the process of the governance. That's why we emphasize upon Panchayat Raj institution. What is the benefit if we participate? The needs and grievances of people will be taken into account even while formulating public policies. What will be the benefit if the citizen is involved in implementation of the policy? For instance, if you take implementation of midday meals program in government schools, at panchayat level, parents of children are empowered to supervise preparation of midday meals for their children in the government school. What is the benefit? Since their own children are going to have the meal that is going to be prepared under their supervision, they will see that the quality of food is ensured, the hygienicness of the food is ensured, the nutritional levels of food are ensured. These are the benefits if citizen participates in the implementation of programs and policies. And third phase, in that also the citizen should participate, that is evaluation of programs and policies. Evaluation of programs and policies. When the beneficiary himself evaluates the programs and policies, the evaluation will be impartial. The evaluation will be impartial and unbiased. Hence, these are the benefits. Citizen participates, formulation, implementation, and evaluation of public programs and consensual in orientation. Consensual in orientation. First, there should be consultation amongst government, NGOs, people at large. There should be wide consultation amongst the government, NGOs, people at large. Then can evolve consensus in formulation and implementation of public policies and programs. For instance, with regard to this Farm Amendment Act, a group of farmers say we oppose the bill, and some other group of farmers, they are accepting and they are welcoming the Farm Amendment Acts. Hence, in democracy, it is very, very pertinent and important to evolve consensus among various competitive interests. Democracy characterized by participation of the voter, and in democratic societies there will be different interest groups whose interests may be at loggerhead. For instance, the interest of businessmen of big business houses on one hand, the interest of labor, the workers on the other hand, they may be at loggerheads. Hence, it is a duty on the part of the government. It should consult the NGOs, citizen groups, the stakeholders, both the parties, the interested parties, and with that wide consultation, it should try to evolve consensus in public, in the formulation of public policies and implementation of public policy. Transparency. Transparency means secrecy should be eliminated in governmental meeting. Secrecy should be eliminated in governmental decision making. For instance, government sanctioned tenders, government allotted mineral blocks to a particular private corporation. At what price you allotted? Who are the other bidders? Who was the highest bidder? All these things should be known to the people. That is transparency in governmental decision making. In this regard, we passed Right to Information Act or Right to Information Act of 2005. Right to Information Act of 2005 to eliminate secrecy in governmental decision making and to ensure transparency in governmental decision making. When we used to prepare for UPSC, with regard to UPSC exam, everything used to be secret. What should what used to be the cutoff mark in prelims? Nobody knows how much we should score. What is the cutoff marks for open candidates who belong to open category? What is cutoff mark for the aspirants who belong to OBC? What is the cutoff mark for the aspirants who belong to SC and ST category? These things never used to be divulged by UPSC. And one more unfortunate thing which used to exist 10-15 years ago, we used to have two papers. One paper optional and the other is GS in prelims. Optional paper used to consist of 120 questions into 2.5 marks, 300 marks. GS paper 100 questions, 100 marks. Each question carrying 1 mark. Whoever performs well in optional, we used to get through the prelims. This is how I also got through prelims, by performing well in public administration optional in prelims. But some people, some aspirants, some unruly aspirants, they used to monger the rumors that we need to have minimum cutoff in GS. But UPSC never used to divulge whether there used to be any cutoff marks in GS paper 2, that is GS in optional, sorry, in prelims. So all these secrecy used to exist. With regard to 2006 prelims exam, even now, the case is going. So this is secrecy in governmental decision. Secrecy should be removed. You should be thankful to Right to Information Act and Aruna Rai, because of whose sacrifice and endeavors we got this Right to Information Act passed. And because of Right to Information Act, now the aspirants clearly know in which year, what is the cutoff for open category aspirants, what is the cutoff for OBC candidates, what is the cutoff for SC category students, and what is the cutoff for SCs, STs. That is transparency. UNDP says there should be transparency in governmental decision making and secrecy in governmental decision making. Responsiveness. Bureaucracy should respond to the needs and problems of people. Bureaucracy should respond to the needs and problems of people. In India, bureaucracy has dubious distinction. Indian bureaucracy has a dubious distinction. Across the world, it is notoriously known as wooden bureaucracy. Why Indian bureaucracy is known as wooden bureaucracy? Because it never responds to the needs and problems of people. It's only engrossed in self-aggrandizement. It never responds to the needs and problems of people. It is termed as wooden bureaucracy. On the other hand, Japanese bureaucracy is termed as modernizing bureaucracy because it played leadership role and it spearheaded the development movement in Japan from its journey from the state of affairs when Nagasaki and Hiroshima were hit by nuclear bomb to present day, in which Japan is one of the biggest economies in the world. In this journey of Japan from ashes to the present status of one of the biggest economies in the world, bureaucracy spearheaded the development movement in Japan. Hence, Japanese bureaucracy is termed as modernizing bureaucracy. That should be the thing. Bureaucracy should be responsive to the needs and problems. The political executive should be responsive to the needs and problems of people. Responsiveness. Next component, effectiveness. Always remember, friends, as students of public administration, even in my previous sessions, time and again, I emphasized upon these points. Please understand the difference between effectiveness and efficiency. Layman uses the word efficiency, but the institution which is efficient, it may not be effective. Efficiency. Efficiency is not only it in its in itself is not sufficient in democracy. Yes, efficient only refers to smooth running of an institution. smooth execution of activity. For instance, if I have an intermediate residential college, I will be running the college smoothly every day. The at exact time in the morning, the students will wake up. They will attend their natural calls. They will have breakfast. Then the academic session starts. Then lunch break. Again afternoon lunch academic sessions. Then games period. After that study hours. After that dinner and again study going to bed. This is how I keep on running the institute in a smooth manner. Even my students will be getting very good marks. Even they may be getting rank in JEE, NEET, but they will not be able to cope with the style of learning in IITs. Because in my institution, I never trained my students how to learn the subject based on concept. I just made my students to mug up the facts, mug up the things, and vomit in the exam. But after having entered into these reputed institutions, they are utterly failing in grasping the subjects in these reputed institutions, IITs. Yes, I am efficient, but I am not effective. I am efficient, but I am not effective. That is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Whenever you refer to result oriented administration, goal oriented administration, administration which emphasize upon yielding the result to the poor and needy, we refer effectiveness. We refer effectiveness of the government. We refer effectiveness of the government. Programs and policies of the government should reach to the beneficiaries. That is effectiveness. How far have we been able to reach the goal? That is effective. The efficient may not be effective. But if you are effective but not efficient, it doesn't matter much. But if you are efficient but not effective, no use. Yes. Actually, UNDP used the word effectiveness. Effectiveness. Programs and policies of the government should reach to the beneficiary. Should reach to the beneficiary. Equitable and inclusive. All the sections of the society, all the regions of the country should realize the fruits of development. The fruits of development. We observe, though we experience economic growth, but the fruits of economic growth have not been percolated down to the masses, the poor. Large sections of the society, they are left in development administration. They are unable to feel and get the results of developmental programs and policies. It is clearly evident from this fact that even today, 40% of our children are undernourished. Large chunk of poor students, even though they are in 7th standard or 8th standard, they do not know the basic mathematical skills, they basic computation, basic calculation skills, like they they won't be able to identify the time in the clock, so they are in seventh standard. Basic skills they are lacking. Lack of infrastructure, like in Uttar Pradesh, in Orissa, large chunk of pockets still they are not having basic infrastructure. Of course, in recent times, the state of affairs have changed to certain extent. Large chunk of sections of the society, many areas, they are left in lurch with regard to development administration. That means the fruits of development have not been reached to these sections. For instance, simple thing, simple to understand. Student who is from rural or semi-urban background, will he be able to get through CAT exam? Will he be able to get through NDA exam? Will he be able to get through our UPSC CSAT exam? Unfortunately, in UPSC, ever since CSAT has been introduced in 2011, if you observe the data, आप अगर आंकड़े को देखें, ये पता चलेगा कि students who are from rural or semi-urban background, their number is drastically coming down. The number of students who are from semi-urban and rural background who are getting through in UPSC is drastically coming down ever since the introduction of CSAT. So this is how the development is not equitable. It is unequal. It is unequal. Large sections of the society, they are left in development process. Fruits of development have not reached to them. Many areas of the country, like northeastern states, Orissa. In Orissa, people in some areas, Bhimvan, uh, Koraput, Lahandi, in this belt, people out of hunger, they used to drink mango gruel out of hunger. That was the situation. This is how some pockets of the country, they are totally left in development process. That should not be the thing. The fruits of development should be percolated down to all the sections of the society, all the regions of the nation, including gender parity. I think it was in 2016 or 2017 general essay, UPSC mains exam. Very good question was asked. Development which is not engendered is endangered. Development which is not engendered is endangered. That means the development in which women are not included, that development is waste. That is endangered development because it leads to exploitation of women. It leads to exploitation of women. The fruits of development should percolate it down to all the sections of the society, all the regions of the nation, and both for men and women, the fruits of development equally distributed. That is equitable and inclusive. Rule of law. Rule of law is very essential component of good governance because without proper rule of law, you cannot enjoy fruits of development. That's why even in Kautilya's Arthashastra emphasizes on Shema along with yoga. As we have already discussed, yoga refers to material prosperity. Shema, protection of people. Hence, protection of people should be combined with material prosperity. Otherwise, there will be no meaning for material prosperity. You will not get material prosperity as such. Why? Till date, the industry, the BPO industry, the software industry, the manufacturing industry never went to Uttar Pradesh or Bihar. It is because of lack of public order, lack of rule of law. It is clearly evident from the most unfortunate and gruesome incident in which that innocent girl was brutally raped and she was killed. Acts of brutality and cruelty. When such state of affairs exist in any state, there will not be any development. Yes, rule of law, maintaining public order in the system are very, very essential. They are very essential. Friends, these are the components of good governance according to UND. These are the components of good governance according to UND. Following measures ought to be taken to strengthen good governance. What are they? What kind of measures ought to be taken? To inculcate citizenship values and democratic ethos right from school education. Friends, any democracy, whether it is a direct democracy or indirect democracy, presidential form of government or parliamentary form of government, the effectiveness and efficacy of democracy depends on how far the citizens in that country have imbibed citizenship values and ethos. What do you mean to say? Citizenship values and ethos. Realizing the significance of their vote, not selling their vote for cash or for alcohol bottle or for biryani packet or for some freebies, to vote on the parameters of good governance, but to vote on the parameters of governance. To inculcate such values in people, in citizens, right from school education. The way we are imparting environmental sensitivity amongst students right from high school education, in the same way, we should inculcate the sensitivity of their political system. What will happen if we vote on caste based? Bihar people, they voted on caste based and they voted Lallu Yadav to power for 15-20 years. What happened? Even IAS officer's wife was raped repeatedly with the knowledge of her husband. This is the pathetic condition. When we vote on the basis of caste, same thing will be repeated when we vote only based on, when we vote only on the basis of religion, region, language, These are called primordial loyalties. We should remove these primordial loyalties from our mindset. These are characteristics of feudal government or monarchic government. We should learn how to vote on the basis of good government, on the parameters of good government, such as the quality of infrastructure, the quality of rule of law, the quality of public order, quality, the levels of honesty on the part of political executive. Such values should be imbibed in people right from their school education. Reforms in political system through electoral reforms. Recently, Supreme Court announced every party has to give clarification if it gives ticket to any candidate with criminal antecedents. Why you have given ticket to such person who has criminal antecedents? Why you have not given the ticket to any other innocent person? And recently, Supreme Court ordered high courts and lower courts to fast track the criminal cases against politicians. This is how reforms ought to be brought out in political system. Yes, the saying goes in political parlance: political corruption is mother of all corruption. Political corruption is mother of all corruption. Political corruption is mother of all corruption. Hence, reforms in political system. Effective administrative reforms, especially more focus on behavioral reforms. Administrative reforms basically divided into procedural reforms like computerization, e-governance, digitalization, etc. Then structural reforms creating ombudsman institution, democratic decentralization such as Panchayat Raj, creating vigilance departments in each ministry. These refer to structural reforms. So far, the administrative reform initiative in India, it majorly focused on procedural and structural reforms by totally neglecting behavioral reforms. By totally neglecting behavioral reforms. By totally neglecting behavioral reforms. Behavioral reforms means the reforms which aim at bringing about change in the behavior and attitude of the administrator. Unfortunately, the administrative systems in third world countries, they were created by their erstwhile colonial masters. Even after independence, they still carry the colonial hangover and feudalistic mentality. Hence, we should bring about behavioral change and attitudinal change amongst the bureaucrats. In this regard, UPSC aptly introduced separate paper on ethics. Recently, the central government has come up with administrative reform initiative that is Mission Karma Yogi. Central government has taken stringent measures by removing IRS officers from their office. Within 1 year, around 40 IRS officers have been removed from the office. Stringent measures have been taken against some corrupt IAS and IPS officers. When we used to prepare for civil services, our coaching center director used to say, once you get into the service, whatever you do, nothing will happen. Whatever you do, whatever you do, nothing will happen. But now, slowly, fortunately, the things are changing. effective administrative reforms, especially more focus on behavioral reform. Friends, yeah, sorry for the interruption because of power cut. There was sudden abruption of the class. Hence, vibrant civil society. Vibrant civil society is sine qua non, essential for effective functioning of any democracy. Civil society comprises media, citizen groups, charitable institutions, NGOs, etc. These should be vibrant and strong so that they can exercise surveillance and check on the abuse of authority on the part of political administrative system. In almost all Western democratic countries, democracies are majorly successful because there the civil societal organizations are very, very strong. Next, to ensure good governance, we need to have effective ombudsman institution, Lokpal, Lokayukta, at state level. In order to ensure effective Lokayukta institution, the Parliament, by invoking Article 253, Article 253 says Parliament can legislate on state subjects to enforce any international covenant or agreement. In 2003, the Government of India entered an agreement with UN, that is Convention Against Corruption. That is Convention Against Corruption. In order to enforce that UN convention, the Parliament can invoke Article 253 and it can legislate Uniform Lokayukta Act so that the institution of Lokayukta will remain will have adequate powers and functions and adequate teeth. This Uniform Lokayukta Act that ought to be legislated by the Parliament by invoking Article 253 should stipulate that only judicial members, only judicial, the individuals who have judicial qualification should only be appointed as Lokayukta, like retired judge of Supreme Court, retired Chief Justice of any High Court, or at least retired judge of High Court. Important areas of administration, panchayat institutions, municipalities, state public sector undertakings, government hospitals, they should come under the jurisdiction of Lokayukta. Important public offices such as Chief Minister, the Council of Ministers should come under the ambit of Lokayukta. Lokayukta should have separate investigative agency. This is how Parliament can legislate Uniform Lokayukta Act that can be applicable to all the states to strengthen Lokayukta institution, because large chunk of corruption happens at state. Measures ought to be taken to prevent political executive from interfering in day-to-day administration. This is the one of the reasons why our administration is not so effective. Unnecessary involvement of political executive in day-to-day administration. Value-based education should be inculcated amongst the children. Values ought to be imbibed in children because the administrator, the political executive will be coming from the same society. Yes, the values and ethos that are practiced by the society at large will be invariably imbibed into the administrators and political executive. Hence, value-based education. We should focus on value-based education. Following aspects can also come, they can also form the ingredients of good governance, such as good educational facilities with greater employability, development of basic infrastructure. Infrastructure should be very good state. Quality of infrastructure should be very good. Then only we can give boost and impetus to business and trade, which enhances employment opportunity. Business environment with free market economy so that we can give impetus and boost to trade and industry, which in turn leads to enhancement of employment, economic growth, and economic development, reducing inequalities and citizen-centered services. These are the factors which can also be components of or ingredients of good governance. Thank you, friends. Please subscribe to Unacademy YouTube channel, share and like the videos. Use my promo code and get 10% discount. If you have any doubts or clarifications, you can contact me on my Telegram channel, Unacademy_Kiran Anishetti. Thank you, friend. Thanks a lot. See you in the next session with interesting and important topics.